walking down the street and a construction guy came out of a manhole and was like, Tyson? He seemed like a big man, but I think he was like maybe in his mid-20s actually. And
I'm
so
like,
he was probably 12 when the movie came out.
well, hello, I'm Mandy with Pop Culture Planet. How are you doing today?
How are you?
I'm good. So, Douglas, you've been a part of multiple psychological thrillers in the past, including Don't Worry, Darling, The Alienist, Ouija, now Exposure. What keeps you coming back to the genre, and what's your favorite part about telling these stories?
Well, I wish I could tell you that I cherry picked them. I mean, when it comes to the bigger projects, I audition. It's more them. They like think I have maybe a face that like lends itself to that kind of material. With exposure, with the smaller independent films, those are a bit more like my decision. But when you're talking about like The Alienist or Don't Worry, Darling, that's very much I audition. I want to, be considered, and they say yes. I'm just grateful.
Yeah, no, of course. And you shine in all of them. I really, really love that kind of genre, and I love those kind of mind-bending stories. In this film, you played Tanner, who has a severe case of obsessive compulsive disorder. How did you prepare to get into his kind of mind? And did you like experience anything in your own life that you kind of took from that?
I always pivot over to Peter because Peter's very comfortable speaking about that, and he
Yeah.
wrote a script kind of about that. And when we actually set out to decide if we were going to work together, I sort of said that I would be interested in working on it if we could make it about the text and maybe about his experience. I don't think it'd be the most positive experience for me if we also felt like I needed to pull my own stuff out and into it. Felt like that would just come out naturally.
Hmm.
As an actor, I think that stuff just flows out of you as you are and exist, like honestly in the space of like the scene. It's kind of irrefutable. It just can't not come out of you. And so we actually had a whole conversation beforehand if to see if it would be a good fit for us to work together. And I sat with him in a rehearsal space in Burbank, and he sort of gave me okay, well, so would it be okay if I said this and we said this, and could we do, and we did a sort of like kind of like a, I don't know, like a pretend how we would interact with each other if we were shooting a scene. And because I said, like if you want a certain actor to do that kind of work with you, then I won't be the right fit, and that's okay.
So you also starred alongside many talented people, Amanda Seyfried, Harry Styles, now Margot Harshman in Exposure. Was there anything that you learned from your co-stars or even, as you were saying, your directors that you take with you for each project?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I go all the way back to like Bill Paxton, "Don't eat yourself out of a scene." So we were in the middle of a scene and then they called lunch, and then I was like, you know, eating a lot of food and then like going for the apple cobbler, you know, which is, we don't eat like that. And I don't eat that way in a normal day, but like on a film set, for some reason, I think it's totally normal to get like steak and like a fish, potatoes, and then get like apple cobbler and vanilla ice cream at like 1 in the afternoon. And I always remember that. I was younger. I was just on the Superman and Lois set, and like their craft table was insane. They had so much. It was great. Oh, everything you want. It was so good.
I love seeing the things that go like behind the scenes, like seeing stuff that goes into the filmmaking. Definitely food is like one of the most important. And so you also served as an executive producer on this film. So can you talk about your experience with that side of filmmaking? Do you plan on doing more of that in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to oversell it. That's like when you work on a little movie and you want to get that kind of credit. I mean, I'll just be totally transparent. That was like my agent just like asking for that. Like that's a real like vanity title there. I'm just going to be honest with you. I would like to, yes. I write a lot, and I would love to have the the time and the money to be able to make something that I've written. My brother has kind of pivoted into exclusively being a director. He used to be an actor like me, and he doesn't really act anymore. He's just a director yeah. But as far as that producer title, that was kind of like, that's something that sometimes gets offered in lieu of more money,
Coming with
because
the
it's
role.
just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get
yeah,
that. But as
I'm just being honest. Are we not supposed to talk about it? I mean, I'm just being real. Everyone knows that.
it's lastly, you play Tyson in the Percy Jackson films. Daniel Deemer was just announced for the role in the new TV show. And do you have any advice for him on the role, or would you want to ever come back to cameo?
I think, well, I think it's all new actors. They're much younger, right? I hear it's a really great show. That's super cool. I've never had that experience. This is the first time where a role I originated now is being played by another actor. It's an interesting, I guess that's just part of getting older. I'm a year away from being 40. So but yeah, I don't I think he's gonna do great. I think they know what they're doing. I don't think they need advice from me. But I'll always think fondly of my time as Tyson with Logan and Alex, and doing that Percy Jackson movie. It was like, yeah, it was like I don't know, it was a very formative experience, and still get stopped on the street by people, which is remarkable to me because my hair was different and I had one eye
It
with
was
part
like
of
all
it.
those years ago, but it's still so recent to today because so many new audiences see certain things. So like hopefully more roles that you originate will, continue to do that because that's such a rewarding feeling, I feel like.
Yeah. I was walking down the street and a construction guy came out of a manhole and was like, Tyson? He seemed like a big man, but I think he was like maybe in his mid-20s actually. And
I'm
so
like,
he was probably 12 when the movie came out. But it was, yeah, and he like stopped doing the construction. He came over to get a selfie with me. I don't think I'd recognize him. I mean, like I had one eye, but
I feel
yeah,
like that just goes to show like true fans. True fans will recognize always at the end of the day. Fandoms like that, they stay together. I know, being a part of so many. So yes,
cool.
I can't wait to see the new projects that are coming up for you. And I thank you so much for your time and sitting down and talking to me today.
Thank you.